To order the January 29th, 2024 Kingston Select Board meeting. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good morning, everyone. It's obviously been a busy couple of weeks, and I know we have another busy week and a busy weekend, so thank you all for being here. Tammy, great job with the elections. I know we still had some items just at the end with tabulation and stuff like that, making sure that the formulas of how it's supposed to be tabulated. I know we were all patiently waiting to go home, so thank you, Lori, for staying late to escort the ballots with Tammy, because I had to go to work the next morning and I was pretty tired. But no, I think it went great, and I'm sure you'll give us an update on that. Everyone, welcome Pedro. Pedro is our new code enforcement officer and building inspector, and I'll give him an opportunity to introduce himself when we go around the table. But let's just jump right into it. Want to start off with Marissa?
Volume slowed down a little bit since the holidays. Oh, yeah, that's right. The volume slowed down a little bit since the holidays. It just started to pick up a little bit less, and see where that goes. And I'm going to be redoing the website. That's like my next big project.
Okay.
That's it.
Tammy.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you, Phil, and your guys. They're awesome of helping me set up. And Joel for lending me Billy for the day, and for all of you for being there and attending and helping me and being supportive. It was a good turnout. It was a very good turnout, and it went pretty smoothly. So the end always is a little exhausting, and when you're so exhausted, it's hard to think. But the one thing I want to mention is we have our town election coming up, and we're in the middle of the filing period right now. So any of you that need to or want to sign up for something, but also, are we going to have a candidates night? And there we are. I don't know if the library or the ladies auxiliary from the fire department or some organization would like to help facilitate that. I really would like to make it kind of a policy that after the elections from now on, we don't open till noon, because that was nice to just be able to have that little bit of extra sleep. At the election, though, there was no one in the lobby, so I don't know if everyone's forgotten about that, but if anyone wants to set up a little table, they have to check with the moderator, but you know, if you're a fire auxiliary or anyone wants to post information, it's a good way to contact Kingston residents. And I also want to ask about the collection this Saturday, because we're all going to be here. So I didn't know if we were still planning on doing that.
Yes, it's still 9 to 12, and we could use some extra volunteers because a couple of us will be here, so it'll be probably just 3 or 4 people there. But yes, it's open.
Okay. February 1st, this Thursday, we're going to start sending out our delinquent notices, as we have to do for taxes. And we are in the middle of dog licensing that's just starting. We have to have all dogs licensed by April 30th. Hopefully we'll have a date for the rabies clinic that the fire department does soon. And that's it.
Okay, thanks, Tammy. Paula?
Obviously, finishing with the budget and all that comes with that, and filling out all the stuff for the annual reports and year-end forms, and it's just been busy, so just continuing.
Pedro?
Hi, good morning. We have been starting with a busy week. It's getting also very busy the weeks to come. We're going to be submitting some documents and proposals to the board so that they can then relate to the general public after their considerations. And we're just very busy and looking forward to make sure we can manage any kind of issues that come across my desk, and any kind of challenge to overcome.
Pedro, keep the mic. I mean, so the folks on the board select board are very familiar with you because we've seen you a couple of times, but I'm not, and I know, well, maybe the folks who work downstairs know you, but some others probably don't, so is it all right if you
Yeah,
guys like?
yeah, quick bio, like just give people a little rundown.
Pedro,
Alrighty, so
Pedro, we know you like to talk, so
keep it to a summary, yes.
the abbreviated version, and
So if you see, I was trying to keep everything to a summary level, but now that you push it, so. All right, so my name is Pedro Vila. I am the new building inspector, code enforcement officer for the town. I actually have been in the field of building inspection for over 6 years. I am certified by the International Code Council. I have a degree in architecture, and I'm here to make sure that I can assist the town in any way possible or any concerns they have.
wow, that was good. That was good.
Oh, yeah.
But I have,
Been practicing.
you get a bonus this week.
Oh, write it down.
One of the things that that we agreed upon when you were hired is that you'd be in the office and available to the public at certain times, and that you would structure your out-of-office time for another block of time. So, just for people who might be listening, I think it's on the website now, but could you just tell us what hours you're in the office?
Perfect. Yes. So I'm going to be in the office between 7 to 9 a.m. for the general public between 8 and 9, because I know we open the doors at 8. And then I will be going out on inspections, code enforcement actions, and things like that to the field, coming back around between noontime and 2 p.m. It's been like a normalcy to come back to the office. At that point, I can also assist the general public with questions, concerns. I'll be also answering any phone calls, sending back emails. The emails I've been answering early in the morning as soon as I get here, but I'll be answering to any concerning questions at that time as well.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you.
Things are pretty quiet over at the station, busy with calls. We're up on calls this year compared to last year about 30%. So as it comes and goes, anybody in law enforcement, first responders knows it can be slammed one month and quiet the next month. So we'll see how that kind of evens out. I do want to thank the board for their support for the 2 warrant articles, one for $75,000 and one for the revolving fund for the fire department. And then I just urge all of you here, anybody listening, to come next Saturday to the deliberative session. Thank you. So things can be changed, the warrants can be changed, the budget can be changed. I'm sure Chris will probably talk on this in a little while, but it's a pretty important meeting so that if you have employees and friends that can make it, especially the budget portion of it, until that gets voted on and voted to be closed for the rest of the day, then anything can come up. So, thank you.
Morning. I sent around, I gave everybody a copy of the events that we're doing, so I won't go over those. It's self-explanatory. Camp is almost full. We had some spots for Kingston residents, but non-Kingston residents filled up in about a day.
Wow.
It's been a very busy week emailing people, making sure they have it all done right. And but yeah, it's exciting. We need, I believe, one more counselor. We've hired some really good counselors. I think they'll be really good. Let's see, we're also working on the rec building. I've taken some stuff out, and thank you, Phil, for getting rid of some of the stuff that we didn't really need. Just trying to make the place look a little bit more, I don't know, rec-like. It looks a little dreary, so hoping that the Serve with Liberty group that comes every year to help me would be able to paint. We'll do a different color there and kind of jazz that up a little bit, get some new furniture, some new games. So, and then the events still seem to baffle me about some work and some don't. The video game that Phil I thought was a great idea, and nobody signed up. And then you get somebody, we have something on Wednesday, and we're way over, you know, what we thought we would be. So I'm still baffled by that a little bit, but anyway, I think that's it.
Hey, Paul, just the summer rec program now.
How many years at the rec?
Yeah, doing like, you know, the daycare at the rec.
Well, it's not daycare.
Well, you know, summer camp, summer program.
So, I mean, it's gone to different places.
Yeah.
It was at Bakey.
Yeah.
It was at the high school. And then I think it went to the rec center. So I've been there, I think 7 summers, and I feel like it was there for at least 3 or 4 summers before that.
No,
and
that's
my
great.
son went when he was 4, and he's 27.
Yeah.
So at least 23 years.
Yeah, but I mean, I think having it over the year, I mean, it's been just it's been fantastic over there. I think it's
Yeah.
been a great alternative to some of the other summer camp programs that are around there, because obviously you see how quickly they fill up. I know, you know, my kids went there,
Right.
you know, my kids have gone there, my kids have gone to Camp Lincoln, but I know signing up for those programs, whenever we sign up for some of these, like if you do not sign up the night that it opens, you do not get a slot. So there's
Right.
obviously a great demand for it, especially where, yeah, I would say most homes these days, both parents have to work.
Right. No, that definitely.
So
yeah.
they need options during the summer, so that's
Yeah,
great.
I had either an email or a Facebook post, I think it was in the beginning of June,
Yeah,
asking if we had openings. And I said, no, and they said they couldn't believe that there was openings. And I so much wanted to write back, I can't believe you're asking in June to see if there's openings.
and
So,
it seems like you have a lot of the council, you know, a lot of the kids and folks that are working there are returning every summer, so
yeah.
that's
We
fantastic.
get about 3/4 that come back.
Yeah.
They're the key to the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you could have the best physical camp in the world, if you don't have good counselors, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And we're a good alternative to Camp Lincoln. It's more laid back, less structure, and it's
Yeah.
good for some kids, not good for others, just like Camp Lincoln, so, yeah,
Oh, great.
yeah.
The library has been extremely busy. First I'm supposed to ask you, what events do we have planned in the summer through the town? Because we're trying to keep our summer reading from going on the same weekends as maybe something the museum has or.
Well, it's tough to say because the museum is usually, some of the museum events are officially by the museum, and then some are with the nonprofit that runs the museum, so we don't have purview over them. But I anticipate they plan on still doing similar time frame and the similar events they did last year that seemed like they had success with those. So I would probably touch base with some of the folks there just to verify, but I think they planned on doing the same date ranges or the timing of that as it worked.
Right, I believe so. I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume and I won't. If you need any assistance interfacing with someone there, I'm happy to help.
No, we're good. I work with them all the time.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But Kingston Days and any chance any of your things will be in August?
Usually the first weekend in August is,
But
well, it might not be Kingston Days, but the museum, this year anyway, did an event on that weekend.
Heritage Day or?
Right, right. It was only one day, but it was on that weekend, and I think
Okay.
it was the Saturday.
Yeah.
and I think Kingston Days Committee is still hoping for more involvement so that they can get enough people for the steering committee to,
That would be a great thing to be at the elections.
So we were gonna have a meeting last night, but it was canceled for a couple of reasons, and the next tentative scheduled is February 11th. If on the 11th we don't get the desire to volunteer, we're probably gonna call it quits, because that's pushing it way too far into the year to then be able to set something up. So.
Can you get me a flyer and I'll post that in the library about your meeting?
Sure, I'll get with Stacy and have her give you some information.
and if we can have if there's any chance we could have a flyer for something like that prior to the deliberative session to hand out to anyone who may be here.
I will get with Stacy and see if she can put something together.
If not, someone in my office then. They're
Okay.
fast and they love it.
Right. Right, I know her appointment as chair has expired, but
Yeah.
we're still trying to get a little bit of momentum here, so I'll
Okay.
get with her.
We can always do it on our social media too, which is getting traction. So Lori and I have been working on putting together a couple forums for transportation. So February 22nd at 11:30, we're going to have a transportation forum, and then the following week, February 27th at 6 o'clock. So we're going to look for community input and start getting people who are willing to perhaps volunteer if we start something related to volunteerism. Other events happening at the library, we have Blind Date with a Book, which has been very popular. People come in, get a free book February 1st through 14th. It's all wrapped up. They get some tea and cookies and go home. I love this event. The first year we had it, people saw it posted on social media, came running in their pajamas at 7 o'clock at night. We want our book. We don't have a date. It's February 14th. So it's a lot of fun. So I hope people participate. February 10th, we're having a medicinal plant, and that's a Saturday program. We're trying to up our Saturday programs. We had ukulele this past Saturday, which was well received with about 24 people. We hope to have them back. It was a lot of fun. We have adult crafting jewelry with a local resident volunteering his jewelry skill, Larry, I don't remember his last name. And then our older adult seminar this month is on telling your family story. So getting grandparents mostly to talk to their grandkids about their story and recording it for posterity. The less fun stuff, but important stuff, the library foundation submitted for its 501c3 last week. And they have together their bylaws and their mission statement. A group of 5 people are working really hard to get that off the ground to help us raise money for future building projects and other big needs. And then our strategic plan, I handed out to the select people, and I'll give copies to anyone else who wants. I just want to point out the 4 main areas that the library is focusing on in the next 5 years. It includes collections, so boosting our collections, making sure our print collections are in good shape, making sure we have good databases, and making sure people can access our materials. Programs is our second area. We've been doing a lot with programs, and it's been really well received by the community, so we want to keep going with that. The grounds is our unique goal area. So you all know about the outdoor education center we're hoping to build. So that is our main focus in the next 5 years. That's a little different very different from areas on which we've focused in the past. And then our final area is partnerships, creating partnerships with the town and local businesses. We just joined the Exeter Chamber of Commerce, which was a great move because at my very first meeting, I found 2 people to do programs. I found somebody who has money who might be willing to give us some money. And then I made a connection with a transportation person. So just that was in the first meeting. So the Exeter Chamber is fabulous, and I look forward to building more partnerships like that. So come on, visit us. We're busy and welcoming, and hope to see you at some programs soon.
Will there be snacks at the medicinal?
We'll be offering sage and things like that.
No potato chips or anything? So we are we're doing our rollout of iWorks, and part of this is a portal for end users to submit requests or complaints. So you'll be sent a email link to department heads, most of the people in this room, and I don't know that this really required a whole demonstration, but we're here and we're doing it. So pretty straightforward. Submit a request or complaint. Now, I know you guys are used to grabbing Tom and John when you see them. The point of this is so that we can track the amount of work that we're doing. The fire and police track their number of service calls. We're trying to do the same thing, and this offers the ability to do that. So
you submit your description of the work, the location, and then you can attach a file, that's all, or a picture. That's very helpful for us to see what you would like. The biggest thing this is going to do is when you hey you me in the hall and I forget you as soon as I walk out to my truck and you say, hey, I asked Phil about this. This is a way for that to be tracked. The other side of this is if there is an insurance issue where you requested something to be done, this allows us to show that we're taking care of these things. Or if someone says, you know, hey, I said this, well, if it didn't come through this, it really didn't happen. So this is just to try and kind of streamline our operation and do all those things. So there also is a field on here where you can find your request. So you can follow up on it. And what we do is, as we address things, we put comments and notes in there so you'll be able to pull up your request and see what has taken place on it. So we would appreciate your support in using this. And if there are any questions or anything, Lisa is probably your best point of contact on that. But that's what we got.
I have 2 questions.
You're limited to 5 a day, Paul.
That's what Rich used to say, yeah. So should we stop calling the DPW to report something and do that instead?
It would be better to utilize this, unless it's an emergency. This would be the better way to send in facilities requests.
And then on my Google Doc that says Phil's list, should I then put that on here?
By individual individual items, yes.
Each one? So
Yeah.
each thing being,
So what this does, and since I got it on the screen, I'll show you guys. We now have work order management, or work management. So what we're doing is, we've got basically, we're tracking everything that we're doing now. Assigning it, assigning priority, assigning people to work on it, dates that it needs to be done by. So any information you put in there feeds into this system and makes it a lot easier for us to process your request. So the more detailed, the better.
Where do we find this on your website?
I will be sending you a link. We do not want this going out to everybody, and so this will be sent to select people.
And the server has crashed.
So will it go out to all, any and all town building folks like?
It will be sent to the appropriate people who should be making requests,
Okay.
i.e. the Heritage Commission, not the Museum Commission.
Oh, okay. I just need to know the message that I need to convey to my liaison folks.
Yes. So it will be sent to basically everybody in this room and the committees that are directly responsible for other areas. So as per the memorandum of understanding agreement, that would be the Heritage Commission in the instance of most of the town buildings for those purposes.
Okay, thank you.
so I just want to be clear, so if I've asked for something before and it's not done yet, I should put it again.
That would be a good plan.
I put it in a couple times.
Just once, preferably.
Should we call Lisa then and remind her to have you email us?
So you can check the status on it. 24 to 48 hours, you should be able to check the status on your request. And if you're seeing it's not getting any traction, by all means, please call the office and she can let you know where it's at. We review all of the work management every Friday. So statuses are updated. We go through it with all the supervisors to make sure that these things are kept on top of. I mean, obviously there's things that we can't do anything about because it's winter or things like that, or we're waiting on materials, and those are put on, pending, work in progress, that kind of thing. But yeah. So, beyond that, the waste oil grant for the furnace is going before the governor and the executive council at their next session. We're doing a lot of kind of research on this building with regards to the HVAC and the electric. So before we send that out to bid, we kind of got to figure out what we want to see out of that. And that is proving to be quite difficult based on the rat's nest we have in the ceilings and the floors here. So we're digging through all that so we can at least know what we want when we bring in contractors to look at it. But over the next couple of weeks, you'll see myself or the grounds guys up in the ceiling just kind of looking at things, and then we'll be bringing contractors through to probably we'll be Dowling, we'll be bringing them through for a more in-depth look, and just because they're our currently contracted HVAC supplier. But you'll see that in the town hall.
Phil, do we haven't enlisted the use of an architect or anything?
As of right now, no. Because we don't, our conditions need to be clarified before we bring in an architect. We gotta know what we want. And based on what we have, what can we salvage and what can we not? And, I mean, an architect will do a lot of that, but we're gonna pay for that too. So this is an effort to kind of save some money, as always.
Phil, did you get any feedback on the front steps?
I have one quote and I'm waiting on another. The other one I haven't heard any response from, so we're still trying to get 3 quotes overall. But the second one is in process for sure. I got confirmation on that last week. The LED upgrades are complete for all the buildings, and Paul and I are gonna get the last 2 contracts put out today, or signed off today. I believe you already signed them. We're just sending them off. So with regards to the LED upgrades, because this building should have a substantial change in its energy consumption based on that, it would be my request that we wait 2 to 3 months before we go out for that generator grant, so we have an accurate picture of what our actual energy needs are. And that will also give us the time, once we have a picture of the HVAC system, what the potential energy loads of those are. 5 kilowatts can make a huge difference in the price of a generator. So even though it is a grant, it would be right to have it sized appropriately.
Right, and part of the question on that is whether or not we qualify for a 100% grant or only a 50% grant. And I know that Graham mentioned that the one at the fire station qualified for the 100 because that's considered an emergency shelter location, I think. And if we could also have the town hall designated that way, we might qualify for it as a full grant. So, but it needs to be looked into, and as I mentioned to you, you know, if Lisa could work on it when you're ready to, and I'm happy to help her with that. So
I think the intent at this point is we're gonna start working on the application while we wait for that data to come in.
Okay.
And then once we have it, we'll be ready to pull the trigger. Right now, we're looking at mid-May is when we would move forward on that.
Okay.
The Danville Household Hazardous Waste Commitment Letter should be in your file. We gotta get that back to them today. So just to put that on your list. We have contractors coming through the library and the police station today to look at the duct cleaning. We had 1 quote already, but we're gonna get 2 more because that was astronomical. So, and then the other thing is, with the rain we've been having, we're going to have to start ditching the roads again. People have been kind of slowly filling them in, and we're going to have to kind of reestablish those because our stormwater system is not going to be able to keep up with the volume of rain we're getting. It's just too much of a drain on resource to go out there and scoop up gravel out of the middle of the road because we're not draining properly. So while I'm sure the complaints will come through us, it will most likely go higher than that. In no instance will we be going outside of the established right-of-way of 18 feet or whatever it may be for that road. We'll be sticking to that, but people don't like being told that they don't own their front yard, so just a heads up on that. It'll probably be a couple months before we really get into that unless we have a really warm spring, but there's definitely a few areas that definitely need attention.
Yeah, so before any of that happens, if we could just maybe post something to the website and your social media pages,
And we're
just so
gonna meet and
people are
greet
aware
with
of it.
people and just let them know when we're moving anything or doing anything like that, but we have a lot of professional complainers in town, so just giving you the heads up.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Welcome, Pedro. If you have any issues on the field, you feel threatened, intimidated, or anything like that, if you're not comfortable, please call us. We're more than happy to come out and do a standby. All right. I don't have much other than just let you guys know I did get my new cruiser in 2023, bought the older one, but it's new, so that's up at the shop right now, getting the electronics put in, radio, etc. I'm only doing a half build because I'm 3,000 over my cruiser line right now. If we go into a default budget, it's gonna be an issue, you know, because I don't have the 17,000 in it, but we'll deal with that when it happens. With that being said, last Thursday, one of my officers, midnight guy, was turning around to stop a motor vehicle, and the car behind him rear-ended him, causing $13,000 worth of damage. It's not total, but I'm down a car for another month anyways, maybe more. Yeah, he's fine, he's fine. There was no injury. The person behind him apparently wasn't paying attention, his own admission. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Joel, I'm assuming that the damage is covered by our insurance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I already reported to Primex, get it to Paula, Paula's did her deal.
Okay, thanks.
Financially, we're usually in a much better situation if it's not totaled. It's when that gets totaled that we end up being in trouble, because we don't get nearly enough replacement cost.
So that's all I have.
Susan?
Still working on the town report this week. I have to finish it just after deliberative, so if anybody, Bill has not given me anything yet. I need that.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Also, I'm looking for pictures of volunteers. So like Kingston Days, I'd really like to have some from this past year if you have any.
Were you guys taking a
For the
picture
cover.
down at the
I'm going to do a collage of volunteers, so. And I am still looking for more information about the upgrade to the website to get numbers to you. I had a few more questions to ask them. So next week.
Okay. Just a couple items for the department heads if anyone needs to leave before we continue the rest of the meeting. Just Susan's going to send out an email. The board had just asked that whenever a department head, if you're going to be gone on vacation for a week or out of town for an extended period where there may be something that falls under your purview, if you could just send a group email to all the department heads and Susan and the board just to say, hey, I'm out of town during these periods of time. If there's an emergency, I can be reached, or during an emergency, I'm unavailable. This is the point of contact while I'm gone. We just want to make sure that if any department is not going to be available, that we're just aware of it so that somebody knows who to reach out to in case they need anything. And Susan will just send out an email just so we kind of have that documented, just as a reminder to everyone. If they could please do that, that'd be fantastic. And the other thing is, I anticipate we're going to have a busy and probably long day on Saturday or for the deliberative session. And it's tough. As we all know, there's a lot of stuff that goes on all year long. There's numerous meetings, and we all have an idea of how things got to where they are and the things that are going on in town and where they get there. But let's face it, this is a substantial budget, and I don't think anyone likes it. Nobody likes the budget increases that we're looking at. So it could be a very difficult meeting. You may have members of the public that want to criticize departments. They want to criticize me. That's fine. I'm willing to admit we made some mistakes along the way and had some growing pains this past year and had to learn from some things. But I'm more than willing to take accountability for anything I may have missed. But if people try to single out individual agencies, just don't take it personally. I want you guys to all know. I know I had sent an email out to everyone in the town a few weeks ago. You're all doing a fantastic job, and we really appreciate the work that you're doing. So it is very important. So don't be disheartened if people that are frustrated, not necessarily with you personally, but they're just frustrated at the financial situation in general and the tax burden that's on there. Just don't take it as a personal attack, brush it off. I mean, people are frustrated, understandably, but we'll deal with those issues best that we can. So just keep your heads up. You guys are all doing the right thing. You're doing a good job, and I want you to be proud of what you're doing, because I know all of you do have the best interest in the town at heart, and you really do work to make the most of it and be responsible to the people of the town. So thank you. Anything else before we move to public comment?
So we discussed a couple weeks ago initiatives of the board, of the select board, and one of them was to increase participation from the community. And in that vein, and also in light of filing, there's many open seats. I think it would not be a bad idea if the boards and committees, as a rule, just submit to Susan for the town to post what your committee does, just a brief recap, right? Just in summary, the time commitment, because I think people are hesitant to volunteer if they think the time is onerous to them, right? So if they know it's only once a month for a 3-hour meeting, we might get more participation, right? So, and then like points of contact. So if whoever is in charge of a board, if they're listening and they're not in this room, if we could turn that around pretty quickly. I imagine it's not hard to throw something together. And if we can't get it in for this week, that's fine, just, we can post it on the website so people understand when we call for volunteers, they know what they're getting into, because I think people are hesitant to raise their hand. Thanks.
I just want to say that I spoke with Ellen Faulkner last night, our town moderator, and she will be more than happy to moderate the candidates' night.
Oh, good.
So that's not an issue at all. It has been tradition for the town moderator to also moderate the candidates' night. So we as a board should pick a Wednesday later for February, and then go from there.
Okay.
Just pick the date, and we get a date and a place and time.
And then we need like 2 people at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, we could
probably
we can enlist some of us to do that, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that if you were running though, that would be appropriate.
Well, I'm not,
Glenn's not. He's not running for
and
re-election.
Chuck is not. So you got 2.
And I'm not.
There you go. There you go. So it's plenty of opportunity. One thing, as you all know, the Carriagetown News will cease publishing as of this Thursday, I believe, this week. This is the last issue. A lot of people get their information. I mean, a lot get it from social media, that's true, but a lot of folks do get notices about things and information about what, you know, different groups are doing through the newspaper, and we're going to lose that, and it's very unfortunate. It's a real loss for the community, I believe, and I'm saying that in preface to a suggestion that at any upcoming meetings that we're having, like the deliberative session, the vote in March, if we can have some sort of a flyer or poster or something alerting people to the fact that we have a town email system that you can sign up for free, and you can get notices about meetings, things that are happening, and you can pick and choose which things you want. I mean, you can check off all and you'll get every notice that goes out. But it's a great way to notify people and to be alerted to things that are happening in town. So just a suggestion.
How do you get access to the place you sign up for newsletter? Is it right on the website?
Yeah, it's right on the main website. It says subscribe to news, and then you click on that and it says, what do you want to sign up for? And you can pick every single board and committee, so you'll get an email anytime an agenda is posted, draft meeting minutes are posted for all the committees that you sign up for. What were you suggesting, a Wednesday? Is that what's...
That usually the town hall is free. 21st, 29th?
Valentine's Day?
No.
I would say probably the 21st.
Is that or the 29th? Because the election's the 12th.
I'd say do the 21st, because then if all of a sudden we have an inclement weather event, you could postpone it to the 29th, so you at least have 1 week buffer.
Okay.
I mean the 28th.
20, yes, correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, do it with the 21st, with a backup date of the 28th if for some reason there's a weather event and it has to be canceled. What works for folks? 6 o'clock, 6:30? Probably 6:30.
What do we typically do?
I think it's 6 or 6:30. I can't remember, to be honest.
6:30.
Yeah, 6:30 is good, I think. Yeah.
And I'll take care of it. You get a piece of paper, questions.
Yep. Fantastic. Ernie or Rick, do you guys have any updates from your respective committees or boards? Okay. All right. All right, then we'll... Okay.
Yeah, Tammy was just telling Ernie that the Heritage Commission recently did a mailing of close to 300 pieces out to owners of older homes in town, homes that got captured and reviewed during the 1980 inventory of older homes in town. And it was a way that the Heritage Commission felt that they could reach out to folks who own those homes, let them know that, what resources might be available to them as they work on their old home, and also that, and included a sheet of the inventory for that particular home. So it has all the history of it, some of the backstory, and names and contacts of historically from whenever the house was originally built. So those all went out to those folks.
Okay, we'll open it up for public comment number 1.
That Ellie or somebody, historic community, make sure that our last copy of the Carriage Town News somehow either gets in a time capsule or something for when we have our next celebration, or somehow, because that is such a real part of our history. So I just hope something like that can happen. So.
Yeah. All right, no other public comment. I'll close public comment. 1, old business. We have an update on the land purchase for the water source. Rick, I know you're here as well. So, and I don't think this needs to be non-public. I don't think it's anything in negotiations. We're just trying to make contact, really, at this point, I think is where we're at, because it's already been approved by the voters. Like, I mean, unless you think there's some other nuance that you're going to bring up that would qualify for non-public.
What are your thoughts on that?
Do you think any part of this should be discussed in non-public, Rick? Is it going to get muddy?
If there's any question, we should just...
Yeah. If there's hesitation, we could do it non-public, and then we could just, and then at the end, if we say, nah, that's not really non-public, we just won't seal the minutes.
Okay, I probably the err on the side of caution.
Okay.
Would be smart.
All right, are you willing, are you able to hang till the end so we can go into non-public after?
Whatever you want to.
Yeah, because, we'll do it at the end. We'll get through the other stuff first, for those that are watching. Okay. So the Poet System project, any updates? I know Susan said this RFP is being reviewed internally by
Verdantis. Yeah, that's the last I heard.
Okay.
They said they're on track for the end of January. We're just about there, but I haven't got anything solid back yet.
And the wait is definitely disappointing. I know me personally, my tenure on the board, I was really hoping that we could see these at least being started to being installed prior to my departure. So, but I'm happy it's moving along. I know it's, when it comes to clean drinking water, it's never as quickly as anyone wants it to be. But I'm glad it's moving forward, and at least we'll have everything correct so we qualify for the grants.
Right. So what will happen is that once the contractor that we've secured to help us with the RFP, once that's done, and as Susan said, it should be by the end of this month, that then needs to get reviewed by the Department of Environmental Services, the issuer of the grant. And that shouldn't take them long. Once they bless it, then we can go out to bid, probably a 14-day, I'm guessing, period to respond. And hopefully we'll get responses and we can make a choice and get it contracted out and get them underway. So,
all right. I know we already talked about website options. Susan had already mentioned she's still waiting for some information back from that. Any new business? Okay, public comment number 2. Go ahead.
Just a question, if we were to transition websites, is that data able to be captured, all the email addresses and everything like that?
They would migrate everything over according to them. I'm hoping that would include the email addresses.
So the second company that we talked to, I asked that specific question, and no. They would have to hand punch all of the email addresses?
Oh, I didn't get that part.
Oh,
Yeah.
but I guess, are you
people would have
referring
to
to, would we maintain our current email addresses because it's tied to the website, or we'd have to migrate to new email addresses?
You mean the subscribe to emails,
The
right?
subscribe
Because
to,
we
we
don't
would have
control
to
those.
manually,
I just know the comment was made, like, nobody knew where that
yeah.
repository of emails was, so
Right.
at least can we access it, whether...
Tammy, I think, can answer. We asked this question a couple months ago in relation to the whole recycling thing, right? And they're captured on the back end, And I don't know that they actually, I don't know if you go into the back end, if there's a whole list of email addresses. I don't think the data's easy to get to, is my point. So when we asked the gentleman with the second demo, and I asked that question, he would need access to those, and then they have to type them in, but we don't know if we actually have access to them. Like, they might be encoded or something, I don't know, that's a
Right.
question for Civic Plus on the back
Yeah,
end.
we'd have to ask them, but I think it was designed that way because the whole point is that we don't have access to their email to
Exactly,
use
so
it
it's
for
a
anything
privacy
else.
thing, so when we migrate to a new website, we might be starting from scratch for people to subscribe, but we don't know the answer yet. If it's a Civic Plus, it'd be easy, right? If it's the same platform and the
Right.
same company, but if it's a different provider,
It would basically mean everybody's gotta
yes,
go back
they have
in
to
and
redo it,
subscribe
yes, they have to
again.
go back in and subscribe. for
And
data.
that might get rid of a lot of old stuff that
Well, that's
doesn't
true.
even need to be
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
so.
But to be determined.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be painful.
Yeah, it would be painful.
I mean, it's hard enough to get this, get people involved in it, and
Then to change, yeah.
and then, of course, if they have to go in and resubscribe, how do we let them know that?
Yeah, you'd hope part of the transition would be an email blast, like if you wish to continue receiving this, you have to, here's your new link.
Yeah.
But, like you said, it's tough getting them through the door the first time. Okay. Board business, we need a motion to approval of the meeting minutes for January 22nd, 2024.
Second.
All right, any further discussion on that?
I
All
did
those-
make a couple little changes that Lori
Okay.
sent to me, just who said what, but I
Yep.
fixed that.
Okay.
So we should the
So
motion
just
be as amended?
As amended?
Yes.
Both comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. We have a facilities use request for the Recreation Center, February 21st. That's related to ice fishing in coordination with, I think, Department of Fish and Game. And Paul's said he would open that up and do all the cleaning and stuff. So there was no issues. It looks like it's been signed off on by all the other departments that need to comment on that. So if nobody has an issue with that.
Who determines if it's safe or not? I mean,
New Hampshire Fish and Game, I imagine.
so it's their insurance if something goes wrong?
Well, they're the ones that have to conduct the rescue with the fire department if something goes wrong.
Chris drives his car out onto the
Yeah.
ice, and if he loses the truck.
Yeah.
Somebody
It's not
posted
safe.
a great meme to a question, because someone saw ice fishing out on Kingston Lake, and they're like, so they posted the meme where if it's a car, it has to be, so many inches, all the way up to like a dinosaur.
Yeah, like a T-Rex.
Yeah, so if you have a T-Rex, it has to be, multiple feet. But yeah, so a person is really not as thick as we think it needs
I
to
mean,
be.
the way things have been going, the ice fishing could be just a boat out in the middle of a bunch of slush.
Well, the Kingston
With a
Lake
pole.
Association just sent out an email saying things have gotten really soft. I'm
Yes.
just saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I know.
This is-
That's at your own risk.
This is a school project, by the way, so they're allowed to.
Yeah. Okay, then we have the Household Hazardous Waste Day commitment letter in our files that we have to sign off with. That's for October in 2024, so if anyone has any issues with that, that's part of our every year stuff. Any other business before we make a motion to go to non-public? Anything? All right, then I'll take a motion to move into non-public per RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2. It should be C and D.
Second.
All right. Roll call vote. Ellie?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Chris, I'm a yes.
Yes.
Charles?